First up is a dish I've been calling ramen paprikash. Due to me being stuck inside, I really don't have access to the same fresh produce I would normally have. So, you know, I've been making do. So ramen paprikash is a combination of two dishes. The most important for this is a Hungarian dish known as chicken paprikash. Chicken paprikash is inspired by the Hungarians' deepened, almost strange love of paprika. Paprika was introduced to Hungary by Turkish merchants in the 1400s and started to get grown out of the city of Buda, which would get combined with the city of Szesz to make Budapest. But that's besides the point. I'm getting off topic. So basically, I've combined these two things using the chicken flavoring of a bad, mediocre ramen and the sort of fresh produce of the chicken paprikash, because I don't really have access to chicken breast, but I do have access to these super common pieces of produce. First up is about a quarter of a Spanish onion. This is making roughly like one serving just for me. Next up is a small sweet pepper, red, by the way, to go with the paprika. You could use like a quarter of a bell pepper too, that works, and a single clove of garlic. So if you don't have these, by the way, you could use about maybe a teaspoon or a half a teaspoon, half a teaspoon of a onion powder, a little extra paprika when we get to that step, and a little bit, like a tiny bit of garlic powder. All right, we're gonna wanna dice these into small little pieces. Unlike the rest of it, for the garlic, you're gonna wanna mince it.
Alright, first you're going to want to add a tablespoon of butter and a tablespoon of oil. Get both of those foaming, and then add your onions and your pepper, and then stir those until they get translucent. Then you're going to want to add a half a tablespoon to a tablespoon of paprika. Add a pinch or two of black pepper. You could add a teaspoon of bouillon. This bouillon is to try to simulate the scrapings at the bottom of the pan you get from searing chicken in the normal version of the recipe. Then add your water and your noodles, and finally 2 scoops of sour cream.
Serve with an extra dollop of sour cream, and this is a horribly inaccurate, I'll say, but kind of rough and dumb facsimile to bring yourself like a tour of the world in your own home. This is still way too hot. For our second recipe, well, it's not really a recipe. It's more the way I prepare physically my version of the grilled cheese. Personally, I like mine with cheddar and provolone, but the way I do it is I throw it into a cold pan, the assembled grilled cheese, and let the grilled cheese heat up with the pan. This ensures the cheese melts and the bread doesn't get burned before, the cheese melts in the center. You could use a lid to help with this, but besides for that, it's an extremely simple way of doing things. And I think it really does help improve the grilled cheese from the burned, cold in the center mess that many of us deal with to a excellent golden crust, melty inside that we're all expecting.
Alright, to a small mixing bowl, you're going to add 1/4 a cup plus 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and 1/4 a teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/4 a teaspoon of cinnamon. You're going to whisk all of this together, and then add 1/4 a cup of room temperature milk, 2 tablespoons of melted but cooled butter, and 1/4 a teaspoon of vanilla extract. You're going to mix this into a shaggy dough, and then transfer into a mug. Then you're going to place this into the microwave for about 1 to 1.5 minutes.